Anytime you're ready. Okay. Hey, folks. Welcome to Minions of the Sioux, 1439. I'm your host, Johnny Hellcat, and with me today are Minions Sanguine.
Good evening, all.
Terry Diamantis.
G'day, mate.
And traveling exhibit, the Hate Camp.
That just sounds so weird hearing Terry say those string of words.
Next, we need to get him to say shrimp on the Barbie and then a tirade about the Great Emu War.
Well, as an American, I fall back on the whole "g'day, mate" whenever I'm trying to try and fake an Australian accent for like a half a second. You know, hearing an actual Australian say it in a context, it's just weird. It's weird.
So now I have to ask, when you were fighting back on that, did you end up defaulting to, that's not a knife, this is a knife?
You know, if I had $1 for every time I heard that when I was working at the hardware store,
Yep.
we sold like, what the hell are they called?
Knives?
The big knives.
Which big knives?
Machetes?
Bowie knives?
Yeah,
Bowie
machetes.
knives?
Okay.
It was machetes.
I wouldn't count those as knives, but I suppose.
Well, for what we had to work with, the joke was, that's not a knife, this is a knife with the machete instead of an actual knife. Isn't that more of a not knife? I don't know. I don't know my technical armament, so it's
Well,
I
if
consider
you
it a
wanted
knife.
to go for medieval arming terms, it would be closest to effectively a falchion, which is a single-sided, thin blade, short sword of sorts that has it can either have a strong curvature, more like a saber, or it can have a very shallow curvature, where it's just the very end of it kind of sweeps up. And it was useful for cutting into flesh and cloth armor.
So, stay away from Sanguine when he's angry is what I'm hearing.
I've shown my collection of medieval arms and armor.
Well, speaking of arms, shall we
I have
tell
two.
Sanguine about the story?
yes. Let's do that. Let's hop right into it. Let's see. Rust BP dies after prop gun misfire on the New Mexico set of Alec Baldwin Western. Joel is also injured.
Someone got Brandon Lead.
Yes.
Yeah, that's also trending right now on Twitter as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, so was it the director of photography and the director?
Yeah.
The director of photography died, and the director was in like a, I think, serious condition. Or
No, I never actually read the story. At the moment, it's mostly just
Damn. So
all news to me so far.
wasn't that he fired a prop gun with a blank once too close to someone, but twice?
I don't know the exact details because let me find it again here. Where was that story first? Yeah, Deadline Hollywood.
How appropriate like the name is.
Well, I mean, it's a little on the nose if you ask me, but pull up the article. And yeah, she was 42. She died not long after being transported to the hospital in Albuquerque. Susan, 48, remains at a local hospital. His condition is unknown. So, misremembered.
So was it that someone had loaded the wrong rounds in it, or were they properly blanks that were fired?
It says the details are still unclear at this moment. They're working to learn more and yada, yada, yada.
Detectives
Okay.
are investigating how the prop firearm was used. Why did they put that shit in brackets? It's part of the story. I never get
No,
this
I
shit.
reckon he heard Trump brag that he could shoot someone in the middle of the street and still get elected, and he's like, "I'm going to one up this guy. I'm going to kill 2 people and keep my job."
Oh, this makes it even funnier. I'm sorry. I saw Undoomed on Twitter. He had a screenshot from Alec Baldwin. I don't know when exactly it was tweeted out, but it's like, asking how it feels to like kill someone, like accidentally or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
It was like Alec Baldwin now knows the answer to his own question.
Yeah.
Nice. Also, the reason why it's in brackets there is because it's information that was there in context, but due to the cutting of the quote, would not be there in just the quotation, so you bracket it back in.
Okay, so it's to let them know what they're talking about without having it.
Yep, it's like if
Gotcha.
someone's talking about, yeah, I saw him, and in the previous sentence they had explained who he was, then you would remove him, and in bracket you would put the name.
Gotcha. When it just, just say him because you already know who it is, or just say the name. Like, I don't know.
Well,
Anyway.
It would be if you're using that quote in a clipping that does not include the context of who him is up until that point, then you would bracket it in, put the name in. So what was probably said is detectives are investigating how, and so it might have just been how and what type of projectile was discharged, or it could have been how it was used and what type of projectile was discharged, so they pop back in the
I got you.
prop firearm.
Johnny, as often as you have trouble with the English language, I'm worried that some BI agent's going to show up at your door one day to haul you off to be civilized.
No, he'll be hauled off to be a writer for some major mainstream publication.
All right, CNN, here we go.
Exactly.
Well, they are in need of like copy editors.
Yeah, you'll become
They
the
don't
next
use editors.
editor at large.
So that does mean I'm going to be bald and ambiguously gay.
No, that's
Ryan Stelter.
yeah, Potato Man. That is bald and ambiguously gay, which you're being rather generous by saying that he's ambiguously.
Well, I heard he's quite hidden.
Well, whatever you do,
depends.
don't get a job writing for Alec Baldwin movies.
And it depends on what you mean by hidden. The fact that he hasn't admitted it, I don't think is sufficient to call it hidden. It's kind of like if someone just broke out of prison in the bright orange jumpsuit, and they aren't telling anyone that they just broke out of prison, but they're just standing in the middle of a field. They aren't really hidden, but they aren't out.
Gotcha.
Oh, I kept scrolling when I was on Deadline, I guess Twitter. Apparently, Dave Chappelle is open to a discussion with Netflix employees upset by The Closer. According to an unidentified representative by way of TMZ, Dave stands by his art. No more jokes about transgenders until we can all laugh together. The streets are talking and Dave is listening. At some point, when everyone is open, I'm sure the communities will come together.
Yeah, that was part of the thing that still absolutely floors me. The fact that at the end of the special, he ends with, "Yeah, I'm done making jokes about y'all. Until I can make a joke and know that you're laughing with me and not thinking that I'm laughing at you, I'm done. I'm not going to make any more jokes about you." And they were... Yes, but apparently no for some reason. Because if you make jokes about them, then that's terrible transphobia. If you say that you're no longer going to make any jokes about them, they'll ignore that and say that you're terribly transphobic.
Yes.
It's one of those damned if you do, damned if you don't situations that everyone so loves.
Well, I just kind of wish it would be like one of those situations where do you ever see him on the red carpet where they're asking him about, like, I think it was Sticks and Stones or whatever, I guess about his other transgender jokes. He's like, he starts giving this apology and it sounds like, you know, like a good apology, and then he just kind of starts drifting off. He goes, and yada yada yada, whatever else you want me to say.
Nice.
I remember that. I didn't remember which comedian did that, but I did remember that apology.
I never saw that. I meant to look for that.
I mean, because he's got you going for like a couple of seconds there. Like it's you know, sounds like a sincere, fabricated apology.
Yeah.
And it's just yada yada, whatever else you want me to say, man. Yeah, fuck it.
I've been hearing about how the Netflix CEO originally came out in a fairly strong defense of him, and then almost immediately after coming out in fairly strong defense, started walking back his defense.
Yeah, he turned tail.
Yeah. I heard that it was disappointingly cowardly how he did it as well.
Doesn't shock me anymore.
Yeah. They just need to realize small groups getting pissed off are not a reason to try to fuck your entire market share out.
Well, more than that, small groups of people who aren't your customers.
Yep.
Or rather, small groups of people who are your employees.
Yeah. The proper response is, well, if you feel like you can't work at a company that provides this type of entertainment, you can always tender your resignation. We'll process it. You won't have to come in tomorrow. You don't have to give 2 weeks' notice. You can just be gone today if that's what you would like. And he just muted again, and I'm not sure if he meant to mute or if it's back to muting him.
No, that was me.
Unmuted now.
Because I did not want to sneeze.
Fair enough.
So.
But yeah, that should be the response of, if you can't work for a company that does this, you can quit. That's perfectly fine. That's on the table. And in fact, we will expedite your request to leave our employ. But no one seems to have that response. Just like that should be the response. Again, if a student comes to an administrator at a university and says, I can't believe that you're allowing so-and-so to speak at this university, I'm sorry to hear that. Would you like to cancel your tuition?
I think there'll be a lot of no's to that question.
Yeah. And it would just take a few times of, no, seriously, you can cancel your tuition. If you would like, just say the word and you will no longer be enrolled. Well, before they start going, okay, we aren't going to start trying to play this. You can't allow this person because it doesn't ever fucking work for them anymore.
Well, then I'll just get my gender studies degree somewhere else.
Yeah,
exactly.
There you go. But you kind of reminded me of this website, which was, I think it was Acts of God, which is this guy who used to work at a video game shop. And like he had this game, like he was reserving for a customer, and then the customer gets angry because the price or some nonsense. He goes, "I don't want this fucking game." Blah 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 blah. And then he calms down and goes, "Okay, I'll take it." Take what? I don't have it anymore. You passed on the reservation. Now it's someone else's game.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "What? No, well, you're welcome to reserve another copy for when I get the next shipment in." And then he learned that he can't really just throw a tantrum and still get what he wants, which I thought was good.
And that's an important lesson, and it's something that it pisses me off to this day that YouTube didn't do that when there was the first adpocalypse and people were coming out of the woodwork saying, well, if you allow this sort of content, then we're not going to advertise. What should have happened is YouTube should have gone, copy that, I understand. Here's where you need to sign. By the way, we're keeping all the money that you've paid us up until this point, but we will not be taking any money from you from this point on. And then not only would I do that, but then I would come out with a new fantastic offer for those who stayed with me of, hey, you know how you were paying X amount for your ads through our service? You're now going to get a 10% discount on all the ads from this point on that you do through us. And any new advertisers also get this 10% discount. Anyone that tries to return is going to get a 20% cost increase over what they left with.
See, that's a lot more complicated than my idea. It's like, we're not going to advertise with you anymore. And then the response is simply, "K, bye." That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, but I would want people to realize that if they try to pull that game and then they go, whoa, I made a mistake, that they're going to be paying for their moment of fuck's sake, I can't say the word right now.
Indignation?
Indignation, yes. That caught in my throat for some fucking reason. For their moment of indignation, they would have to pay an asshole tax.
I like the idea of an asshole tax.
Just...
Why do you want to take all my money, Sanguine?
No, see, there's a difference between just being a amiable asshole. No one has a problem with the amiable assholes. It's the assholes that are just goddamn obnoxious. And they don't do it as a joke. They don't do it as a rib. They do it because they haven't had their nose rubbed in it enough to realize this doesn't get me ahead in life. This doesn't do what I want to have happen.
Well, worse than that, it has worked in the past, and that's why they keep doing it.
Yep. Which is why I'm saying that the proper response, because YouTube is one of the biggest media companies now. It has probably the greatest number of views if you look at video distributors. It probably has the greatest number of views because they don't make anything. They have no cost in the production of what they distribute because other people do that. They have to maintain their servers. They have to maintain all that shit, of course. That makes sense. But then they just... It's free. All you have to do is occasionally you'll get an ad or two in a video. And if they weren't assholes, there would be fewer people going, you know what, fuck them, I'm going to get an ad blocker.
Yeah.
And there would be a lot of people just going, oh, okay, so I have to watch 2 ads for an hour-long video, and they're
That's
both
fair.
20-second ads? I can do that.
Well, I remember the first time I watched one, I couldn't believe there was a button to skip the ad. It's like, well, why would anyone not push this button?
Yep.
Like, what if you give us the choice? I am 100% of the time going to skip the ad. There's like, I don't even know why. Like, if you're going to have that button, why not just make every ad 5 seconds long? Because that's how much people are going to see.
Yep. And the one exception to they should always have the skip button is those full-length video ads where it's an hour and a half video from this group or that.
I got one of those hour-long ones one time. I was like, fuck you. I'm not even going to watch this channel anymore. Thanks a lot, assholes.
I got an hour-long ad on a video that was 15 minutes at one point.
I had about a half-hour ad. I think it was just... it was a guy... Oh, I'm brain farting again.
I don't even remember what channel it was I had that hour-long ad on. I've erased it from my memory. That's how committed I was.
He does.
I just remember the ad, and I was like, nope.
He does drum covers. I'll have to look him up. He's an Australian, I think.
Is it the dude who does the ridiculously over-the-top drumming?
No, it's just nothing over the top.
Okay.
He's just really good at what he does.
Yeah, there's one guy who is really good drummer, and he does ridiculously over-the-top things while drumming. And it's hilarious to watch the dude drum. He doesn't miss a beat, but he's just, like, effectively dancing while drumming in the most spasticated manner imaginable.
Speaking about spastic dancing, Johnny, have you seen the video of the teacher in the war bonnet?
No, that is
oh god,
intriguing.
Well, here I will send you the thread that I first saw this on in
Smith.
DMs.
Kai Smith is who he is.
Okay.
I'll send you that for you to check out later, but because Monkey and Jack they covered it on yesterday's Monkey in the Morning, not the one that they did tonight. And I don't know how I got to the head of the totem pole exactly, but yeah, they're like they brought me up when they were watching it.
Cow.
Yeah, it gets worse.
I should be able to show this, and I think I will, just because. I mean, wow. Just wow.
You take it easy there, Keith. We'll see you in 20.
Hey, Keith.
Yeah, this is probably a good time to go ahead and just tune out if you've seen this already. It's hard to watch.
Oh my goodness! This is.
But yeah, I was like, you know, I did not watch that until the replay because I was finishing Man in the High Castle last night, and I know there are more natives in chat for Monkey and Jack than just me. So you guys need to start making yourselves known. I can't be the representative for all of us. All right, I don't know what the fuck's going on here, and I don't know why I got laid at my feet, but I'm here now.
We're only two people, so.
All right. This is how decolonized time works. This is Indian time, folks. They asked for me last night. I'm here now.
I feel like this woman has desperately summoned Elizabeth Warren energy.
So,
you know what I think? I think she's been watching Arrested Development, and this is her attempt at a chicken impression.
Now I know, like, they can hear the audio. The chat can, but can any of you other guys hear it?
Nope. I think it's playing straight through the video.
You're not missing much.
I just unmuted for a moment, and Uwu was effectively what I was hearing. It wasn't an Uwu, but it kind of sounded like it was a war cry version of Uwu.
Well, according to the thread that I saw, and it says, copied. Yesterday, a Native American student filmed this video in his math class. After several minutes of the teacher, quote, war hooping and tomahawk chopping. Is that what that's supposed to be?
It's the whitest version of tomahawk chopping I've seen.
The student began filming. Okay, so this went on for a while before the video starts, folks. The student began filming because he, quote, felt that violence was being committed against him and he had the right to record.
Oh,
I agree with like half of that. He had the right to record.
He had the right to record.
Ridiculous.
Fuck off with that violence bullshit.
I don't know. My eyes feel like they were assaulted.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think I did just have an auditory assault done to me with that.
But see, Raymond Lewis has the exact right response. This is what I was asking when I first was like, math class?
Yeah, math class is the part that is also kind of a sticking point for me because the fuck?
Well,
apparently
x squared plus 2x plus 3 is...
some sine, old opposite, ho adjacent, cosine adjacent, hypotenuse, yeah. So like that's what it's SOHCAHTOA.
Yep, SOHCAHTOA.
Yeah, that's what she's supposed to be whooping in there. And I gotta tell you, it's like, I don't know, maybe it's just been so long since I've been in high school. I did not know what the fuck any of that was supposed to mean.
SOHCAHTOA is the way of remembering the calculations for sine, cosine, and tangent.
Yeah. Well,
it's so opposite over hypotenuse. So is sine equals opposite over hypotenuse. Is cosine equals adjacent over hypotenuse.
Well, see, I like the mnemonic device this person used. Some old hoe came around here throwing out ass. Now, see that I can remember.
Nice.
I mean that gets a like, yeah. Like that actually makes me interested in math. If my teachers in school had been using shit like that, I'd have been paying attention. Dude, I'd be like a physicist or something right now, man. I'd be doing some advanced math shit.
When you said SOHCAHTOA, I thought that was like just some native word that she was attempting to pronounce. And then when you explained the acronym, it's like, oh yeah, now I remember that was a trigonometry thing. But
yeah, see, I never took trig in high school, so I didn't. Yeah, it just. Whoosh. I think I topped out at like algebra 2, and that's only because the teacher must have felt sorry for me or something. I slept through half of that class, and I still managed to pass somehow.
Yeah, I don't get how you go from SOHCAHTOA to now allow me to whoop and kind of sound like I'm doing the war cry version of an uwu.
But here's the thing, like this was, as they said, this was taken at John W. North High School in Riverside, California. Well, there's the answer right there. This is how this happened. Fucking California. Like, I don't think there's a teacher dumb enough in Oklahoma to try and pull that shit. Like, really? You want to do that here? In math class?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's one of those things that's just why? God damn it.
But no, like this thread keeps going. It's hilarious. Like, I'm sharing this video because these behaviors can no longer be swept under the rug. As adults, we must stand up for our youth. Please help us get the word out and share. This student looks indigenous, has a native first name, and identifies as Native American. I was like,
what the fuck does that part matter about?
I was like, can we just all not agree, race aside? I'm not even going to try and pull the race card on this. Let's put that aside. Can we all agree that that's just fucking stupid, regardless?
Yeah. What's the line that Monkey has? Common sense, white woman reform.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, like this bad dancing, and really gay looking headdress. That's violence now. It's like, somebody shove this kid in a locker or something, please.
Yeah, people need to relearn what hyperbole is, because you can be hyperbolic and do it entirely for a laugh. Like,
I've been punched in the face. That's violence. This kid, I mean, it's dumb, but...
And sometimes even a punch in the face is just a love tap.
I mean, yeah. It all depends, yeah. No, thank God it wasn't the fucking Navajo, Kyler. Oh.
No, I went to the profile of the tweet, and she is apparently Inuvialuk or something.
Yeah, she's got land back in her bio. He's like,
and a PayPal, if that's to be surprising. I don't do anything. PayPal me.
I've said this before. Fuck that right of conquest.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, I'm Choctaw, but that's like way down on the list. Like, first it's me, and then it's American, and then later on down Choctaw. This land back bullshit, I'm tired of hearing it. It's like, how long has this campaign been going on? You really think that if you just say it over and over again, they're just going to give it back? I mean, what the fuck are you smoking in your pipe?
Mm-hmm.
It's just it boggles my fucking mind, and seeing it catching on more and more, it's just like, I mean, what are you going to do with it if they give it back to you, huh? I mean, have you thought that far ahead? Let's say they I'll use the Man in the High Castle as an example. They had they had the United States divided up into like 3 different zones. Let's say you get the neutral zone, like the Rockies, and the states, on the not on the coastal side, but on the other side of the Rockies. You get those states.
Oh God,
the land back people.
Vaush retweeted this.
Vaush retweeted that.
Yeah, his quote: "They tried to warn us about Common Core."
Yeah, not bad. I mean,
he could have been better.
Considering the source, I'm not going to judge that harshly. No.
A broken clock, everything.
And
Pete, did you hear what Monkey was talking about before? Apparently, saying you're American is offensive now. You should say you're a resident. Fuck that. Okay.
Okay. Here's one that's funnier. From I am not your Negro liberal. White woman. We don't want critical race theory taught to our kids because it might make them feel bad for being white. Also, white women. Soka toa, soka toa, soka toa.
Yeah, but she's one of the teachers. She isn't complaining about the Common Core. She's endorsing it. But yeah, it is just what the fuck when it comes to that shit. And I said it before, and I'm going to continue saying it because I truly goddamn believe it. One of the things that
there's a doctor
we fucked up with as a nation is we fucked up when Teddy Roosevelt didn't end up handedly winning the debate on the hyphenated American. You guys are all familiar with that, right?
Yeah. I don't recall the exact different hyphenated Americans he used as examples, but I got the gist of it.
Yeah, he used a bunch of different ones, from Italian Americans to the various racial Americans that are normally referred to now, and Irish Americans and shit like that. Pretty much, he just went whole hog on fuck the idea of the hyphenated American. You're an American. You aren't a German American. You aren't an Irish. You're an American. And we fucked up when that was not the winning argument at the end of the day.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand respecting, your heritage, your past, where you come from, but you gotta fully buy in or cash out, one of the two.
Mm-hmm. And there's a difference between saying that, yeah, I have this heritage, and doing the full-blown, no, I'm an Irish American. No, I have Irish heritage. I have English heritage. I have German heritage. I find those aspects fun, but if you ask me, I'm an American. I'm not Irish. I'm not an Irish American. I'm an American.
Well, that's like I was listening to Steve Burns' The Burn Identity.
Mm-hmm.
And he has the thing. He's like, why can't we just be Americans instead of having to put ourselves in a box?
Mm-hmm.
I really got to get that bitch off my screen. Like, it's distracting.
Just keep on watching it play again. And
I
again.
I can't look away.
But yeah, my takeaway from that wasn't even like the whole, like I wasn't even insulted, as a Native American. It's like, okay, that bitch is dumb, but can we talk about how much of a pussy this kid is? Because he's never experienced violence.
Mm-hmm.
That should be the big takeaway, in my opinion. Like, I don't think this lady should lose her job for this or anything like that. Nothing like that. I mean, she should probably have someone pull her aside and be like, okay, cut that shit out. Just teach him math. But
yes,
yeah, somebody needs to toughen that kid up, because that's unacceptable.
Man, this is home ec. Get that shit out of here.
Yeah. It's a fucking math class. Just teach them goddamn math. And teach the math in a way that they can actually do the math.
I mean, I had actual, like, Indian teachers that never broke out and fucking dance or shit like that to try and teach their subjects.
Actually, I did have a native teacher. Well, I mean, from where I'm from, I guess that's not really a bizarre thing.
I mean, I was saying, like, this is Riverside, California. Like, how many headdress Americans they gonna have?
They've pushed them over to the east.
So, but yeah, it's like, yeah, that was my biggest thing. It's like, what the fuck? Why is this? Like, I would have laughed. I would have recorded that shit if I saw that when I was in school and we had current technology.
Mm-hmm.
But I would not be like, oh, this is violence. No, like, look what the dumb shit my teacher did today.
Yeah, no, that's... I had a kid walk up and just straight gut punch me. After a class talking about... Because I had these baskets, and my mom has them. And they were made from cattail. The bulrush, I think it's called. Whatever.
Bulrush?
Yeah. Yeah, it's just a woven basket made of that.
Mm-hmm.
And I brought it once for kind of like a show and tell type thing, I guess, in high school. And yeah, he gave me this, like, you're not a real native. And then just, like, straight gut punched me for it. And I'm like, that is actual violence. Like...
Also, you made an interesting combo word there of gunched.
Well, I mean, I could say uppercutting, but that...
Nice.
But no, there's a difference. There's a definite takeaway from actual violence and my fifis were hurt.
Yeah, I don't get the describing it earnestly as violence. It's one thing if you're taking the piss out of it and you're going, I think I've just been assaulted visually.
Yeah.
And it'd be another thing if they were pissed off because I feel like I was just talked down to. in an extremely embarrassing manner. Fuck that teacher. Both of those I wouldn't have a problem with. But the violence was done to me. No, it wasn't.
But I like how they took it to the internet. And the internet's like, oh, this is... I'm going to dox this lady. Which they did.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm just like, why couldn't you just, I don't know, tell your parents? I mean, that could be a thing. Or better yet, tell the fucking teacher yourself. Or the principal. Or something.
Also, it kind of seems like there's more outrage over that than shit that should be legitimately pissing people off that I've heard about from schools recently.
Yeah.
Like, you guys all heard about the horrendous shit that happened at Loudon, right?
I've heard it referenced, but I don't know the specifics of what happened.
I've heard specifics referenced, but I've not like actually gone and looked up the story on my own. But yeah.
So the specifics of what happened.
My bitch is still dancing.
That
okay, I was not expecting that.
The most fucked up specifics from that story, Johnny, were a girl was raped in one of the school bathrooms by the story varies depending on when it was told and who by.
Oh, is that
it was either a male student that wears skirts.
Yeah, I have heard about that one.
Yeah. And then the school tried to hide that and brush it under the carpet. Then called
we're looking into it.
Yep, called the cops on the father when the father was going, no, you fucking call the police and report this shit. You don't just look into this as the goddamn high... No, you call the fucking police. And they called the police on the father. Then they wrote to all the other families of the school to let them know that there had been an incident at the school, but it had already been handled. Do you know what the incident at the school was?
The father.
Which incident they were referring to?
The father.
Exactly. The father getting pissed off that he had just found out that his daughter was raped in one of the school bathrooms and that the school hadn't reported it to the police. The daughter was tested. The kit came back that yes, she had been. And they still weren't pursuing it. The school wasn't taking it as a serious criminal charge. They were still doing the, we'll look into it and trying to brush it under the rug. That's the long and short of it, though the male student did eventually start getting shit brought against him. But it was only after he had assaulted 2 additional girls, I think it was.
I think I heard he had been transferred to another school and assaulted somebody else there.
Okay.
And a separate time, I'd heard that he had assaulted someone beforehand.
Okay. So
and then gone on to assault somebody else. I mean, I have not looked into the full details of the story.
Yep. But yeah, the school had...
I've got other people's talking about it in my ear, so...
Yep. The school had tried to sweep it under the rug several times. And charges were finally brought against the kid, which they should have been immediately the first incident.
Yeah, you would think.
Yep. And that's infuriating. Especially since it seems like it isn't getting as much press as it really should be.
He's like, they didn't tell the new school that he had assaulted someone before they transferred him. Yeah, they shipped that kid around like a priest.
Yep.
They just played hot potato with him. Because I think this is like a 14 or 15-year-old boy, too. This is not like, like an upperclassman who's praying. This is an underclass kid. So the multiple instances of this, like that early on, that's horrifying.
Yep.
I would be worried, if that's what the kid is now. What are they going to grow up to be?
Yeah, that's
I don't see it going, de-escalating from here.
That's damn near at the point where you just dig a ditch in the backyard and you don't have a child anymore.
I just imagine like some kind of Garland Green scenario playing out where he drives across 5 states wearing some girl's head as a hat.
Mm-hmm.
I love that movie. That's an American classic.
Which one?
Oh, you hurt me, Johnny. You hurt me right now. It's Con Air, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I haven't seen that movie in ages.
Oh, it's so bad. It's good. That's one of those that it's one of those like over the top '90s movies,
Cage trying to do his southern accent.
Army Ranger from Alabama.
Mm-hmm.
Like I can't even do a facsimile of that accent that he was doing. That's just.
It was so bad. It was amazing.
But yeah, Steve Buscemi. That's one of those movies like he stole the show for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's why I like Armageddon over Deep Impact. They had Buscemi.
Mm-hmm. Also, Buscemi's character kept his eye on the prize the entire time because everyone else was asking for, like, I want this amount of money as my reward. His reward, I never want to have to pay taxes, and I want no one else going on this mission to ever have to pay taxes. Oh,
I don't remember that was his specific one, his specific request. I remember Bruce Willis making that at the end with, after he read all their other demands.
And if I remember correctly, it was Buscemi's character that had insisted upon it.
Oh. It's been a while since I've seen Armageddon, so you may have me on that one. I can't watch movies with Nick Cage except National Treasure. Oh, Pete, you're missing out, man. He does some good work, and sometimes it's just like, what the fuck are you doing, man?
He does some really damn good work. He does.
He is excellent at playing white trash. I will agree with Jack on that one. He is excellent at playing white trash.
He does a lot of bad work. And he does some work that is so amazingly bad, it becomes fantastic again.
Oh, yeah, man. He's just looping around the whole time between bad and good. Like, my dad's a big fan of Raising Arizona. And I haven't seen that movie in forever. Like, the only part I remember is, like, just like one line. He's like, damn it, hi, I'm talking about wife swap. And then Nick Cage just punched this dude right in the face. Lord of War was a decent one, decent enough. I like that one, all right. Of course, I like any movie where Jared Leto gets killed. I've noticed that lately. American Psycho, Lord of War. I guess he didn't really die in Fight Club, but he did get horribly maimed. So, one of these days I'll get around to watching Requiem for a Dream. Maybe I'll just love that movie.
I watched it when I was younger, and no.
Well, I've never actually sat down and watched it, but I do know what happens, because eventually you just read about it or something. So I know the plot, I know some of the references. Just sit down and actually watch it.
And there's just so many lines that Cage has delivered that make it so that you can never say those words without the way that he said them popping into your mind. Like, I dare you, if you've seen The Wicker Man, to say the bees without, in your mind, just hearing the the bees! Not the bees! Ah! I think it's goddamn impossible. Also, saying pissed blood and not getting that scene in your head.
I don't. think
Okay,
I've
you
ever
lost me on
seen-
that one.
Oh, you don't remember? I can't remember what movie it's from, but he's talking about either getting the shit kicked out of him or kicking the shit out of someone else until they piss blood. And you're just like, what the fuck kind of read of that line was that?
No, I just remember him being in a bunch of like '90s movies that I saw as a kid growing up. It's like that's so ridiculous and over the top that I like it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he had a string of them there. You know, like The Rock and Face Off, and even as a kid, I called bullshit watching Face Off. It's like they're not even the same height. Like, how's that supposed to work?
And yet they stand face to face.
But
And you do have to admit, both of them did an amazing job of acting like the other, trying to act like them.
yeah, that was a fun part as well as a kid. Just like wait, that's John Travolta. He's okay, so he's trying to act like Nick. I got you. Yeah. So.
He's trying to act like Nick Cage, acting like John Travolta. Okay.
Apparently, Pete has the same problem with Nicolas Cage as with Christopher Lambert.
Mm-hmm.
Something about him just puts him off. I remember when I was in school, I had to give a speech about something, and after I finished it and was going about my business, another kid came up to me, and she had to listen to it. She said that my voice sounded like a mix of Hank Hill and Nicolas Cage, and I didn't know whether or not to be offended by that. And it's stuck with me all this time. Like that kind of bugs me.
Oh, and I figured out what movie the line "pissed blood" is from. It's from Matchstick Men.
Oh, okay. See, I have seen that one. That was kind of a forgettable movie for me, to be honest.
Yeah, the line is, "Hey, have you ever been dragged into side alley and beaten until you pissed blood?" And you're just like, the fuck, Nick Cage?
Yeah, see, that was another plot hole in the movie. Campbell's Wizard brings up. If you think about it too long, you just got to go with it. You have to suspend your disbelief, however hard that may be for you. No, I think my two favorite ones would probably be Con Air and Gone in 60 Seconds. And not even for Nicolas Cage in that movie, just for the cars. They had a nice list of cars in that movie.
Gone in 60 Seconds was good.
I do deduct points off that movie for having Angelina Jolie with bleach blonde dreadlocks. That was a poor choice on somebody's part. And I see Terry's getting some good reception at the underpass.
Not as many motorcycles this time around.
Well, I guess they must still be in lockdown because I'm not hearing any airplanes either, since he's parked right outside the airport. And now he goes quiet.
Yeah, I've been quiet for a while.
Yeah, that's fair.
I'm trying to
I
remember.
see. Pete, he says, Angelina Jolie used to be hot as fuck, especially in Tomb Raider. I never saw it. I'm sorry. That's one that just kind of passed me by. And I mean, with the Megan Fox comparisons to her, that actually made Megan Fox made her less attractive in my opinion. It's like, oh, you're comparing her to, okay.
Yeah, Megan Fox has enough work doing that on her own. So
Yeah, I mean, I didn't even have to notice the toe thumbs to kind of, take some of the shine off of her. They just had to compare it to Angelina Jolie.
See, for me, I can definitely see the Angelina Jolie was attractive as hell. But I will admit that she was somewhat of an acquired taste.
I preferred like a young Liz Hurley in Passenger 57.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I mean, she's had work done since, but it's actually holding up pretty well for what, she's in her mid-50s now? Still posting like bikini shots?
Mm-hmm.
I remember the first time I saw Catherine Zeta-Jones, I was like, whoa.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
See, I think I won Pete back with the Liz Hurley. But that's the great thing about that is one of the great things about diversity. You can like Angelina Jolie. I'll be over here, Liz Hurley, somebody else. We don't all have to like the same things.
exactly, diversity of ass.
And in fact, ideally, you would want enough people to be interested in what you're into that there's a demand for it, and enough of a demand that it becomes present. But you want them to be worse off than you, so that you're now the most desirable person that wants that. That's where you really want to game it out.
And Pete brings up, he says, yes, Catherine Zeta-Jones was gorgeous. So is Kate Beckinsale. I actually saw something about Kate Beckinsale on my timeline. It was earlier today. Said something about how having her high IQ makes it hard for her working in Hollywood. I was like, I imagine it would, but are we sure that you have a high IQ, or is it more of like everyone else being? Because like I've had people say it's like, oh man, you're pretty smart. It's like, no, you guys have just lowered the bar. That's all.
I just hang out with a lot of dumbasses.
Exactly. Yes. Oh yeah, like that was my thing in school. Like I had a friend who probably wouldn't have passed 5th grade if it weren't for me. And he made me look like a fucking genius. But
All right, that's Pete. Do you have an idea for a Teespring shirt? Diversity ass.
Well, I mean, I don't even do anything on my channel, so you think I'm opening a Teespring? That's all you, Johnny. Yes, I've never put any kind of stock into IQ tests. I don't think I've ever taken one. And anybody that tells me like, oh yeah, man, I tested really high on IQ is like, you kind of, all the ones I've seen, ever met, like bragging about how high their IQ is. Like, I ask myself, how do you tie your shoes in the morning? Why aren't you wearing Velcro on your feet right now?
According to my smartphone, I have a very high IQ because I downloaded mobile games that help me improve my IQ test.
Are you saying the Minions have finally gotten sponsorship, Johnny? What's the deal with that? Like, are you doing a read right now? This is like one of those Ben Shapiro, like, middle of the conversation. Are you gonna start hawking birch gold next?
Silver.
The thing about IQ tests is that there's good IQ tests that do actually mean something. Then or that do actually test what they're claiming to test. Then there's IQ tests that don't. Some of the good ones are multivariant tests. Some of the bad ones are multivariant tests. And anytime that you hear EQ in your intelligence testing, in your IQ testing, if someone says that, oh yes, this is the EQ section. Yeah, the EQ section is horseshit. And it's been shown to be a test for something entirely different. And no one has been able to devise a test for EQ that doesn't just test for this other aspect, which is trait. Let's see, it's I'm trying to remember which trait it is off the top of my head. And I want to say it's trait compliance is what it's actually testing for. So it measures how far you'll go to get along effectively, rather than an actual...
like conscientiousness or something?
Yeah, there's trait conscientiousness, trait, I want to say it's compliance, or it might be a different...
Is this like one of those tests that have like the random string of letters that's supposed to...
No, it's... The EQ ends up just being one of the trait tests.
Oh.
It's just one aspect of one of the trait tests. And all it does is it sees how much and how far you'll go in order to fit in effectively, in order to get people to like you. That's what EQ is testing. They claim it's something else, but every single test is effectively just a rip of that one trait test. Which is why a lot of people that actually look into intelligence testing are going, yeah, EQ's horseshit. All it is trait compliance.
I only ever took the test I had to take. No one ever put an IQ test in front of me, and it's probably for the best. You know, probably could have found out just how dumb I am. So, dodge that bullet.
I took an IQ test because I got put forward by one of my instructors for both the G&T program as well as the special needs program. Same instructor put me forward for both of them. And as part of the testing for all that, they did an IQ test. Mine was one of the multivariate tests, and it was one of the fairly reliable multivariate tests. And as much as I am the... Oh, it's trait agreeableness. That's the trait that I was trying to think of. Trait agreeableness is what EQ effectively boils down to. But as much of a very different category physically I am, where I'm a giant dwarf because I have the build of a Tolkien dwarf, but I'm 6'1". I apparently also have that what the fuck is going on here when it comes to the multivariate IQ test, because in the lowest testing area, I was retarded. In the highest testing area, I was quite soundly a genius.
Oh, well, we have an update to...
So you're saying you're a genius amongst retards?
I'm a retarded genius or a genius retard.
So...
That averaged out to above average by a decent bit. But
so you would be like the would that be like the Windex connoisseur type, or what? have it like in a like a brandy sifter or whatever.
Snifter head.
Ah, thank you.
Yes, a sifter would be for flour.
Well,
but yes,
I stay out of the kitchen as much as possible. I do have an update. Apparently, CNN posted 9 minutes ago that teacher has been placed on leave.
Okay.
So that's Think they're going to keep the job, or are they going to just put him out quietly?
That's if the rubber room is a thing, then I can see that being where she'd end up.
She's probably one of the sorts that the union would burn, but try to burn very quietly. Not because what she did is something that they disagree with, but just because it is politically untenable for them to...
Johnny, how many of those Scribe streams have you seen of him doing like the TEDx videos and whatnot?
Quite a few.
I feel like there's an opportunity here for us, Johnny. We could start our own like diversity and inclusion BS company, and we could have this chick be like our first client. Charge the Riverside School District out the ass to re-educate her. her sinful ways. What do you think?
I can see it. It's
All right, you're gonna have to do the paperwork because
untapped market.
I mean, how many of these events do you think actually would happen that we could actually make some money off of that? Because I don't see there being a whole lot of stories of.
We just need to take lessons from Ibrahim Kendi.
I was about to say,
Or Ta-Nehisi Coates.
If you're going to try to bilk them, you don't need actual occurrences in order to become legitimate. You just need to be able to explain everything as an occurrence.
Or Robin DiAngelo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the problem is...
Or anyone speaking on a TEDx stage.
The problem is I'm too lazy to put in enough work to make up that kind of shit.
Yeah, if you're
like this one literally just fell into our laps.
If you're waiting for actual occurrences, you've already lost.
Oh no, they're out there. You just need to find them.
No. You don't need to find them. You need to create them.
No, man, I'm trying to subvert the subversion. You know? Like I wouldn't say anything about like, all right, the native stuff, but like just teach them math. just you're a math teacher. Now, if you want to go into like native studies or something like that, okay, fine. But then again, you probably shouldn't be the one doing the dancing and shit.
But Camel, what about the other ways of knowing?
Go to the reservation. I'm sure you'll find someone in a bar somewhere willing to do them for a few pence.
I mean, or at the very least, they'll try and sell you peyote or something. I mean, win-win.
Or illegal fireworks.
I mean, it's only illegal if you get caught.
Just don't confuse those two and start trying to smoke the wrong one.
Oh yeah, you don't buy the peyote and the fireworks from the same person, man. You're bound to get them mixed up, eventually.
If they haven't already done that for you.
Man, now that makes me wonder. Are there people that make smokers that are laced with drugs?
Johnny, I have another business idea. I mean, I'm on fire tonight, man. I don't know where this inspiration is coming from. You need to write this down quick.
Make a smoke bomb.
Wait, a smoke bomb? Like, I think we're drifting into like some Batman shit territory with that. I don't know.
Well, I mean, where do you think it would be going? Just throw a little smoke bomb in there, and you got your own little hot box in an instant.
Effectively a drug-laced area denial device.
I do love how CNN is wording this. A math teacher in Southern California has been placed on leave after videos posted online show her wearing a headdress. That's
kindergarten at best.
That's the problem.
I don't know. A little more grace than that. I'd say second, third grade. Once the kid's old enough to learn how to actually use the scissors properly.
All right,
showing her wearing a headdress and mimicking a Native American dance. What Native American dance was she mimicking there? Please, somebody tell me. Like, I mean, because to my mind, mimicking means like you're actually like going through the motions of an actual thing. That seemed made up wholly on the fly. That was improv. That was that was not mimicry.
Well, if anything, there's clearly no realizing that you've gone too far.
Well, of course,
pull it back a little bit.
Said that it was improv. Improv is never no. Improv is always yes and.
Oh yeah, that's right. They made a reference to the teacher was making references to a rock god and water goddess. Again, I don't know how I got to the top of the totem pole with Monkey and Jack with the native shit, but you guys need to start posting more in chat. Johnny? Like, Della wasn't there, nobody was there.
Okay, I have to ask, what the fuck does a rock and or water god have to do with
Trigonometry. I have no idea.
$2x plus.
Oh, wait. No, Johnny, I think somebody's already beat us to the punch because they say, check this name. Crystal Echo Hawk, founder and executive director of Illuminative, a prominent group focused on increasing the visibility of indigenous people, said the teacher's behavior was extremely disrespectful and unacceptable.
Yep.
Why do I
we have
feel like-
competition.
We got it. We got to start underbidding. The behavior demonstrated by this California teacher is incredibly harmful to Native youth.
Why do I feel like that woman's name was ripped straight from the pages of My Immortal?
We must set a higher standard of training for educators to prevent racism and discrimination from occurring in the classroom, especially by faculty.
Okay. Other than like just speaking, I'm looking through most of these tweets again because this is fucking stupid. Where is the actual harm?
To the
psychically, emotionally, spiritually. I have no fucking idea. They diluted the word for violence so much that it could be anything now. It's like, no, it's really only when somebody's like punching or kicking or something. Words are not violence. Dancing is not violent.
Johnny Camel, you have to think about it this way. Someone could have cracked a molar cringing at it.
I mean, I definitely felt like the muscles in my back tensing up a bit when I watched that, but I mean, yeah, I could have slipped a disc. I could have, you know. No, just it was dumb, but it's not harmful.
See, this is why you have competition. You aren't really able to tap into the indignation and outrage.
God damn.
Terry,
Terry, I think, did you get a delivery?
A bypass.
I've been telling you, man. He streams from an underpass next to the airport.
How much dinner did you order?
That was not me ordering anything.
Faceless says the kids now have a twisted view of Native American heritage, but that is the only harm. I mean, hopefully the other kids in class, like maybe this is a teachable moment, as they used to say, Johnny. Maybe the other kids in class will be, inspired to look up Native American histories to mock this teacher incessantly for the rest of the school year.
I would have done that, actually.
I mean, like, they start learning like the local tribal languages and cultural aspects just so they can flaunt it in her face. Like, see, we actually took the time to try and figure out what the fuck you were talking about in math class earlier this year. And you're doubly dumb.
We learned the language. We've explored the culture and traditions. We still have no fucking clue what this was about. How the hell does this affect our math?
Thanks to that crazy bitch, Miss Johnson, in junior year algebra.
Again, we need to actually teach kids what violence is, and I suggest by starting with this kid, shoving him in a locker, because if that's his idea of violence, he is woefully inadequately prepared to meet the real world.
There's no way that kid's gonna meet the real world anytime soon. He's
oh no, he's going to meet it like a
gone.
shovel to the face at some point, and he's going to be just so stunned, like, wait, what? Huh? So, God, is there anything else? Is this going to be like the algorithm on Twitter? Just going to be like, all right, you clicked on this story like twice, so you must really be interested in it.
Suddenly, your entire timeline's just full of insane white women.
just like the engine edition of Hoax Hate, just scrolling down my timeline. I think the worst part, I think the part that's really going to screw that teacher is that it didn't come from a place of like malice or anything. It was just being dumb. You know, it was just common stupidity. That's going to be her downfall. No, I did not learn the math mambo. I went to public school, and yeah, like I said, I literally slept through half my Algebra 2 class, and I think they passed me with a D just to make sure they didn't have to see the back of my head anymore. And that's the last math class I've ever taken. And guess what? Most of the jobs I've worked, I didn't have to do anything more than like count back change. So all of that algebra, geometry, Algebra 2 that I didn't really learn, yeah, never used it.
Well, how could you? You just said you didn't learn it.
Exactly. Never had to use it afterwards. So, I mean, I think I made the right decision my junior year of high school. Just go ahead and sleep that 3rd-hour period. You know? Show them the videos from Chaz Chop. They'll learn what violence is. Well, peaceful violence at least. I think that's one of those things. Like we need to expand like the Peace Corps or something. Like that should be the mandatory service. You know, if you're gonna do like the Starship Troopers thing, don't make it military service. You know, send every kid out. You know, 2 years in the Peace Corps, some third world shithole. See how much they appreciate it when they come back. Thank you, Czech. Algebra and geometry are pointless. I agree. I have not had to use them once in the past 15 years. And I intend to continue my streak. Say what?
Quite honestly, I've had to use them a fair bit.
I mean, I did use a little bit of geometry, but that was only like Friday nights at a pool table at a bar, like in my early 20s. That's the most geometry I've used since high school. Was drunkenly playing pool.
Then again, my uses were also fairly specific. Like, how many people are going to need to figure out how to grid out a crime scene by using Rise over Run?
Yeah, I like my use of geometry better. It's more fun.
I remember.
You're assuming I didn't enjoy
I can do that with a buzz. I don't have to worry about crime scenes and shit.
I went to when I went to my first actual semester of college without that they actually helped me prepare for. My first semester they just kind of okay, here's your classes, there you go. Like no orientation, nothing, just there it is, there you go. And I bombed so very, very hard. But my first, I went for computer programming, and my first time there, went through. They had me do a math test before they put you in because they want to place you based on how you perform in the math test. So I go, well, let's see, and I'm gonna base this off of this is 15 years after graduating from high school, so I'm gonna go based off of what I learned when I was a senior in high school. Okay, we'll take just regular algebra, they have it set where like pre-algebra, algebra, college algebra. And I'm like, well, there's no way in hell I'd be doing college algebra. I'll just stick with regular algebra. You know, I was pretty good at that, 15 years ago. So I take the test, and the first question they ask me, I just go, fuck me. Like, just out loud in front of God and everyone. And, like, everyone just turns and looks at me, and I'm like, sorry. Like, because I was expecting, the last thing I remember doing in algebra in high school was not what I learned, what I was given when I put, that information into the computer. That was an Algebra 2 question that I got front and center, first thing. Like, I think it was, what was 3 times the cube square root of 5x plus 10 over the square root of something else. Like, it was like, holy shit.
Yeah, you lost me with the cubes and the letters.
Yeah, I was like, nope, I'm fucked.
So I take it none of you guys had to deal with second calc.
Nope. The closest I ever came to studying calculus was watching Stand and Deliver on like days we had substitutes.
Nice.
I love that movie. Hey man, what is calculus?
How about you, Terry?
What's that?
Did you you did some college?
How were you with the maths?
I'm okay at maths. With university, I did enroll, but then the difference between high school and university was too big. I'd coasted all the way through high school, and so having to actually study was too much too fast, and I just dropped out.
See, I went to a junior college, and the difference between high school and college was way too small for me. I felt like it was just high school, but with mattresses, and they were charging me money. And yeah, like those first, like my first semester, like the English classes and stuff, like the basic classes they want you to take. I would have done fine if I was sober. I think anytime you're going for like a higher education after you become an adult, 18, what have you, you go off to college, university. I think they should automatically give you like an extra semester, like on the house. Just like allow that first semester to go ahead and just blow out, and then it's like you come back the next semester like, all right, now it's time to probably get serious. Because that's what I ended up doing. I'm not saying it works for everybody, but it kind of worked for me.
I found that university...
Are we really going to start doing math, like word problems, Kyler? Like, no, that's not fun. I'm not doing that.
And squared is any number times itself, yes, and cubed is any number times itself times itself.
Oh no, I mean I do know that. I'm not going to.
It was a question that Pete asked.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So I was confirming that yes, squared is when you multiply a number by itself. Cubed is when you multiply a number by itself, and then by itself.
That's my smart shit for the day. That I had.
Yeah, my eyes always start to glaze over. My eyes always start to glaze over when you start talking about the maths.
I had to take through Calc 2 and then additional math.
So you're practically a wizard, is what you're telling me. I mean, don't get me wrong. I respect people that can do math so much because I am horrible at it. I have no interest in it, and you know, I take comfort in knowing that there are people who do enjoy it and do take interest in it, and let them just have at it.
No, it's funny because my stepdaughter, who's typically stubborn about asking for help with math,
Mm-hmm.
she's like, well, do you know how to do this stuff? And I was helping my youngest or my older boy with linear equations.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like, yeah, it's not too bad. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she goes, quadratics. I'm like, nope, fuck you, I'm out. So, if there was anything that destroyed my grade, because my dad had this thing where if I made honor roll, he would pay for my car insurance.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, score, okay, I can do this, And I was a D student at best, so I had a lot of work ahead of me.
Mm-hmm.
And where it got me is that we were doing quadratics, and I flopped that shit like a carp. And my grade point at the end of the year was 3.249, and I'm like, you've got to be shitting me.
Mm-hmm.
Kyler asks, so solving algebra problems in your head is unusual? I don't know, but I mean, you feel like going to take a trip to Vegas, find out? Because I noticed now, like, that your word problem was talking about cards. So, yeah, man.
My final for my college algebra class, the teacher wanted it in class, and because it was an online course, and so he's like, nope, we're doing the final in class in the thing, and I'm like, why the fuck do I gotta do that? Like, what's the point of it being online? No, fuck that shit. And so I borrowed my son's calculator and one of the TI 83s, and I started the math test, and then within 10 minutes of the test starting, the batteries died. So all this shit that I had to do by hand. And it's one of those things where if you get a number wrong somewhere, you end up just with this, trying to work out this problem with just an entire page of, show your work. And I'm like, okay, I fucked up somewhere and it's too late. I'm going to keep going. So I don't care if I have to divide this thing 17 million times.
Yeah, I would probably say math started getting difficult for me probably around 7th or 8th grade. Whenever they started throwing letters in there, that's when I really started taking a dive.
Yeah, like I said, I had to take through Calc 2. Algebra wasn't a problem. Geometry wasn't a problem. Trig, not really a problem. As long as I either had the table or a calculator in order to reference what I need to reference.
What got me though was when I was in high school, I knew like the smart kids in my class, like I knew the ones that were tech savvy. I knew the ones that were math or science buffs, and again, like with you with your math was like, oh, so you guys are like wizards. Okay, cool. And somebody had talked me into joining the academic team because I guess they thought I was good with like general trivia and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And it was hilarious because they looked at me like that when it came to weird, questions and stuff. Like one that I remember was if Detroit is Motown, then Boston is Beantown.
Cricket.
Mm-hmm.
Cricket.
Yeah.
Cricket.
And so I just sit there. I'm just looking like everybody. I'm just looking around. Everybody's like, really? Nobody's gonna. I hit the buzzer. I answer, give the correct answer, and like the math and science geeks are sitting there with me like, how did you know that? I was like, how did you not?
Mm-hmm.
You know. It's like you guys know way more than I do. How did this one slip past you?
We're socially stupid.
Oh, I mean, I wasn't.
Don't make fun of my people.
Well, no, like I mean, I say geeks. I mean, they were just really smart. Like they weren't socially awkward or anything like that. Generally, that was other kids in the school. Like these were just like the high achievers. I was like, you guys, I think one of them ended up, one of them I think ended up going to Stanford, another to Berkeley.
Damn nice.
Yeah, I mean, like they. I remember one chick was bragging about going to Vanderbilt, and I was like, yeah, but their football team sucks. Why would you want to go there? I don't know anything about Vanderbilt other than they have a really shitty football team.
Let's see. I remember my senior year, we used to play Jeopardy before any kind of like major test, just based off of stuff that's going to be on the test. And I mean, not every question was based on the test, but I wasn't really any good with like historical facts. Like history was my worst subject.
Oh, that was my easiest one.
And
I had a girlfriend who just got mad at me because I was really easy for me to remember history lessons and stuff.
Yeah, we were going through and like, basic minutia, like small insignificant details or stuff that I remember. And I remember when I was fiddling around with my dad's computer, because he bought this disc that had like, there was just one of those cheapo discs that had like, we have 700 games on here, so I had to play. And I went through and there's a game on there, I think it was called Hatris or something like that, where you had to like match faces, or there was some sort of like face like puzzle type game. And but in order to play the game, you had to answer a trivia question to get in. And so I remember I had to like shut the game down, reload it, wait till I got the one question that I knew, and then I kept shutting it down, putting it back, rinse and repeat. And so one of the questions that popped up was in American Gothic, what is the job of the farmer? What was the job of the guy holding the pitchfork? And he was a dentist. Which, I mean,
wait, you talking about the painting, like the ma and pa out in front of the?
Yeah.
Oh, I would have guessed farmer. I did not know the story behind that. He was a dentist, really? Huh.
Yep. So I'm sitting here like every question that I've been asked as far as the Jeopardy game goes has been wrong, and I'm just like, oh, this is ridiculous, because like people are hating it when I get called on because I don't know shit, and the ones that I do know they're going to other people, and the ones that I don't, of course they're coming to me. And then finally, once they got the question. I'm just like, oh, fuck you. I know this one. Like,
Mhm.
and it was given to the other team, and they got it wrong, and I immediately shot my arm up, and I just hear an audible fuck. Like, why are you even trying? And then I got it right, and I'm like, fuck you guys.
Well, that's how I ended up on the academic team in the first place. Is I was in a history class, and they just, getting ready for a test. They had us all just stand up, and like you would sit down if you got an answer wrong, and I ended up being like the last dude standing. Like, how did you know all that? It's like, I read the book. It's that fucking easy. It's history. It's all in the fucking book. All the answers. Just read it. Like that was the big argument I had with the girlfriend, because she was like a year younger than me, so she was taking U.S. history her junior year. I was a senior, and just sitting around, smoking weed after work one night, and she's complaining about history class. I'm like, just read the book. It's all in there. All the answers. Boom, you're set. And so she's like, all right, well, she just flips her random page. She goes, what were the fireside chats, huh? Just sitting there smoking.
FDR.
I was like, fireside chats. FDR's nightly radio addresses to, during the Great Depression, yada, yada. She's like, how do you know that? I was like, I read the fucking book. I'm telling you, it's that simple. But yeah, like I love history class because, like I said, the answers were always in the book. Math class, half the answers were in the book. So by my math classes were half as interesting as history classes. That's my truth.
Now, we did we had a lesson where we picked a famous person from our history book, and then we did sort of a presentation based on what like an invention that they did or something they did in that they're famous for. And I got
Was your presentation on the dentist in American Gothic?
I wish it was.
I'm really just hoping everything connects back to American Gothic.
And so yeah, mine was Benjamin Franklin, and we were supposed to like dress up if we could. Only unlike the fuckers that I have in my class, I'm a broke bitch. So I couldn't, I didn't have a costume, and like I'm not gonna lower myself by just throwing cotton balls on my head and calling it good. So I showed up with a Hawaiian shirt that my dad had bought me when he went over to Hawaii, and just a pair of shorts. And they're like, "Oh, everyone they come by with like, oh well, everyone else is dressed up. What happened to you?" And I'm like, "I'm on vacation." Fuck you. That's what happened. I'm in Hawaii picking up on the locals and trying not to give them syphilis. How's that? How's that for Benjamin Franklin for you? I'm a poon hound.
I'm going to go ahead and put that in chat. Go ahead and mark that for later.
I was in a number of the academic bowl team type deals.
It's recorded. You can come back to it later. Shit.
Oh, I know, but this way I can just go back through the chat later on. I can just find where I said something and have a timestamp.
Timestamp 138 and some change. Whatever.
But yeah, I was in a good number of those teams when I was in high school. Also, I had a couple classes that did the same thing. Before a test, that would be the review session. The one that I remember the most was my Latin class, because I am god-awful with languages most of the time. So we had that, and we were split up into teams, and I was going, oh great, I'm going to be the weak link on the team. And for about half of the thing, I would forget the Latin word that I needed in order to translate a sentence here and there. And then it got to a certain point where every word in this group was about gladiatorial games, war, and the military. And for some reason, my Spurg brain was going, oh yes, what's this? It's this. What's that? What's this? And just knew fucking everything as long as it dealt with death, bloodshed, and war. So that one section was my section to shine in the language class. And that, in fact, relates to the screen name that I use of Sanguine Mathghamhain, because sanguine is derived from sanguis, which is the Latin word for blood.
Now, how do you say the last name?
Mathghamhain.
Mathghamhain.
It's
Ma.
Ma.
I had to. I'm sorry.
Ga,
Ga.
or Gov, either way. Van.
Van. Mathghamhain.
Mathghamhain.
Huh. I heard.
That's the easiest way to break it down.
I heard Prospero say it once, and I'm like, wait, run that back by me again. I didn't catch that.
Yep. Yeah, it's Mathghamhain.
Okay, see, I've already done it once, and I'm really trying not to do it again.
Which is?
oh, you didn't hear me the first time? Was I muted?
No.
Yeah. I like I said, I couldn't help myself, and I'm trying really hard.
That plays whenever anything happens like that. Like, it's an auto play. It's like just something that sticks in your head.
Especially the I just love when he's walking away and just
Okay. So I am going to show a picture.
Okay.
Oh boy.
And I want you to... It's going to be one of those litmus tests. What's the first thing that pops in your head when you see this picture? Let me see if I can get that over here.
I love how it just looks like you're staring at Terry right now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that.
Now, when you see this picture,
Yep.
what pops into your head?
Besides
Any takers?
a litany of motherfuckers.
No, he's looking for a specific.
I'm looking for a
line.
specific line.
And I know it, and I'm trying to remember it.
All right,
How about you? Any guess, Terry?
Oh, no idea.
Okay.
shall I?
Yes.
Yes, they deserve to die, and I hope they burn in hell.
Oh, yep.
Yeah, he sent me because I was listening to a town hall from my work today, and they brought up the Tulsa race riots, and wow, it's a tragedy. It's like, yeah. And then he brought up God, what was it?
The Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. Which I had never heard of up until that. So
I heard that Scorsese was making a movie about it. I think it's got
made.
made. Well, I didn't know that it was finished and out. I thought it was still in the process of some kind of production, either general photography or post.
Yeah.
But I think it's got DiCaprio. Who else? I think it's got
De Niro. Brandon Fraser's in there, actually.
Yeah, Brendan Fraser. Yeah, he's making a comeback. But yeah, when Johnny told me that, I was like, and what the fuck does that shit have to do with selling insurance in Montana? That was my first thought. Like, huh?
Well,
So,
it turns out that with the company that we work for, it's a big company. It's the biggest company.
huge.
Yeah, the guy works with IHS down in Oklahoma. So,
You want to give me that dude's name off air? Like, I might have found somebody to bitch at, maybe. No, I joke. I don't use the IHS. I use my own tribe's casino money for medicine. I love that. I remember going to work for the tribe, and they're talking about the difference between like the Choctaws and some other tribes and whatnot. And how the Choctaws, with the casino money that they generate the revenue from, like that all goes into services for the tribal members. Housing, medicine, education, yada yada. That's like, okay, that's cool. And they've got these other tribes. Some of them they just like, their tribes are so small they just cut the members a check. It's like, well, how do I get into one of them tribes? Like, do you got any single chicks? Like, what was it? There's like one tribe that was so small, that they had was it oil on their land or something, and they were getting just like ridiculous checks. I was like, so, like, where's this located at?
Do they have any eligible women to marry?
I mean, sure, but I'm not picky. I'll take a sugar mama in a pinch.
let's see here. DiCaprio, Brandon Fraser, Robert De Niro, John Lithgow.
Oh, Lithgow's in it? Cool.
Barry
Okay.
Corbin.
That one doesn't sound as familiar.
You'd recognize if you saw him.
Probably, yeah.
Let's see. Those are the bigger names. Let's see if there's anyone down here further.
Well, first of all, like if you're gonna spell it in English, you should spell it right. It's not a K; it's a C. And if you actually want to spell it, like it's natively written, is it a? Nah, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and keep that secret to myself.
But anyway, the last part of the thing before we hit the 2 hour mark, it was mentioned by Rita Pahani, and she was saying that conservatives are more able to take a joke than liberals, which is
the pendulum has swung, yeah, because it used to be the 80s that it was the other way around.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've gone. The pendulum has swung the opposite direction in this past generation, and yeah, I wonder if it's ever going to swing back. I'm sure it probably will at some point, but it might take a while.
Yeah, at least
I'm hoping. Oh, God.
I was gonna say at least while Let's Go Brandon is still gonna piss people off.
I'm getting tired of that.
Yeah, I'm hoping that with every swing, the pendulum loses a bit of momentum, but that isn't always the case when it comes to this shit.
No, because it seems like I was very young when it was on the opposite end, and some of that actually predates me. So, but seeing how it is now, it's like, could it? Was it really that bad before?
Yeah,
I don't know. I'm not. not someone who can judge from firsthand experience about that, but I really don't want to see what it's going to look like if it does swing the opposite direction again. But yeah, I would like it to lose momentum as well, Sanguine. Find a nice, healthy balance.
Mm-hmm.
And Terry is giving away my people's secrets because he's going and looking on Wikipedia.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that is how it's actually spelled, and I didn't want to forget one of the H's, and just make an ass of myself.
Although it is funny listening to someone say Osagi.
And you guys look at my surname for my screen name and think that it's weird.
Oh no, I always laugh when people come to Oklahoma and they see like the different town names and stuff that are Indian, and it's like they have trouble pronouncing it. Let's see.
And it's really funny when most native words are sounding exactly like they read.
A lot of the time, yeah.
And it's really funny because they'll be like, is this Osagi? Yes? Like, no. Osage. It's just Osage. It's an O and Sage. There you go. That's all you got.
To be honest with you, I don't know which one I get more pleasure out of, seeing people who are not from around here like passing through and trying to pronounce different names and stuff, or like when there's somebody passing through like during a weather event. Like I remember I had one lady and her husband coming through. Where are they from? I think like South Texas or something like that. And like the tornado sirens go off. The lady just starts losing her shit. The husband seemed cool, I'm guessing maybe like she was a transplant to Texas. Because I was working at a gas station, and it doesn't bother me one bit, the tornado sirens and whatnot. As far as I'm concerned, I was like, that just tells me it's like, oh, it's time to go outside and watch the clouds. It's not a big deal. But she just like, what does that mean? It's like, well, it means that somebody spotted a tornado somewhere. Well, how far away is it? I was like, I don't know. Check the radio, perhaps, maybe. I mean, they'll tell you there.
I got a reply for my tweet
about the teacher lady.
Yes.
Oh boy.
I asked simply, other than the assault on the optic nerves, where's the harm? And he replied, you can and should figure that out for yourself. My reply, so a non-answer. So no harm. Got it.
Yep.
She, her group of mostly cooperating atoms, public health professional. Oh God.
So she has a job where if she got yelled at, she would lose it.
Well, no, like this is somebody who's in charge of public health at some level. That's frightening.
You see why we have so many problems?
This would be one of the people that I would probably enjoy using my race card on.
I'm just waiting for the you're white and you wouldn't understand.
Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? Hey, how are you? I think that's probably a good place to go ahead and end it. Like we've come full circle twice now.
Yes. And it's time to rain dance out of here. All right,
I don't know, man. It's actually, we had a full moon last night. I plan on moonwalking. Also, like now that I look at my calendar, two of my tribal council people have had birthdays in the past 2 days, and there's another one next week. So a lot of people in government, their parents got busy fucking 9 months previous.
Must be
So-
something in the water.
No, I'm thinking that 9 months previously is January. It's cold as fuck. They probably just did it for body heat. So.
Yeah, it's a bit too early for it to be the Valentine's babies.
You know, it's after Christmas. It's cold as shit. There's nothing to do.
Give it the Mormon standard and just have someone jump on the bed next to you.
But
Gross.
I do have. I decided to look up some quotes tonight to have something, because Sanguine, he's got a usual. Terry, he's got his underpass music playing.
The sound of his people.
If we want to do
parting
thoughts, yeah, I got two here I think that are pretty good. Progress is man's ability to complicate simplicity. This is attributed to a THUR Heyerdahl. Well, I mean, dude's name is Thor. You can't disagree with him, right? And then Jack Benny. If you don't mind, it doesn't matter.
Nice.
Yeah.
Terry?
Vroom, vroom.
Well said, sir.
Sticking with the sounds of his people.
All right, Sanguine.
Okay, so first off, before I give my parting words, I made another Twitter that has a specific use. I'll toss the link in the stream chat. And it is going to be my food-based Twitter. So if anyone has any questions about food or cooking, or they want to see the sorts of things that I make for my weekly dinners,
yeah, man.
Or just in the future want to hear about any cooking content I end up getting back into producing, that will be the location that you'll be able to find about it. So
I just went and followed, and I'm actually seeing all the food porn I've heard described. This looks nice.
Yep, it is a Spurg's Kitchen. So over there, just call me Ask. And after that, I'll leave off with my standard. If you're passionate about something, make sure that you devour it. Don't let it devour you.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I had something. Well, I was going to have something because I wanted to quote Steve Burns' thing from Phrase. But, yeah,
Well,
I can't find it.
Kyler says, I like all things considered, I'd rather be in Cleveland. How many times do I have to tell you people, I am not Jack Cochran, okay? I mean, I'm never going to go to Ohio now, just out of spite.
We already live there, so.
But yeah, other than that, I really got nothing.
Fair enough.
So go watch Steve Byrne to find out what Johnny would have said.
It's the opening to the Burn Identity. It is on Amazon Prime. so yeah, there you go. Yeah, let's see. Tomorrow, Sanguine will be hosting.
Mm-hmm.
And Saturday, the Harry Channel. And Sunday will be Delahazed.
Yep.
So, yeah, check those out if you can. Terry will be over there. Enjoying what Delahazed has to offer.
Yeah.
And, yeah. We're going to do something sometime. Not sure when. But I do have my feelers put out for I am in talks. It's not confirmed. It's being discussed. I'm trying to get scribed for a torture stream. Just because
So you never want to talk to him again. Okay, cool.
Well, Tally already screwed that for us anyway, so we're gonna see if we can actually ruin it for ourselves. But yeah, he hasn't confirmed. I let him know what we're going to be watching, and he's like, "Well, let me check it out, and then I'll get back to you."
I'm going to feel really bad if after all those TEDx's we set him down for one of these things and he like has a mini stroke in his other eye.
His eye's just going to be like, "That's it. I quit. I'm done."
Mm-hmm.
But on that, the zoo is closed. Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.
Have a good
Bye,
night,
everybody.
Okay, how many times do I got to click